One more quote from Brian when he was asked about Peter Skoronski, which I want to talk a little bit about here. Peter Skoronski, Titans first round pick last year, 11 overall, tackle in college, moved to guard, going to be flanked by 2 new guys this season. And of most note, last year in week 2, 3, very early on in the season,
I believe it was
he had
around like week 4, right before October.
I was about to say it was in September. I know that much. He had an emergency appendectomy, and that surgery and the timing of that surgery caused him to inevitably lose like 20 pounds at the time. And when you're an offensive lineman in the NFL, you're like a bear for winter. You're trying to bulk up preseason because you're going to be losing weight throughout the season. Maintaining weight is a difficult thing when you're going through the physical rigors that these guys are going through. And so that was a really screwed up situation for him. And not to mention even just regaining core strength, healing from the stitches and trauma of a surgery, all of that stuff made it difficult for him. And so he's come back bigger and stronger, it appears. And we asked his head coach, Brian Callahan, hey, what have you seen from Peter Skoronski so far? Here was his answer.
Yeah, he's put in some really good work. I think he looks great physically. He looks like he's supposed to look. I think probably got a little bit lighter because of the appendectomy I think he had. It probably contributed to some of that, but he looks like what guards are supposed to look like. He's put a lot of really good work in. I'm pleased with his progress.
And then here's the clip where we asked Peter himself, who was available to us today, what was last year like? What has it been for you getting back up to where you want to be physically and weight-wise this offseason? Here's what he had to say for himself.
I don't know if it was a focus so much as I feel like, that happened to me last season. I was maybe a little light. Not my strongest last year, and it's hard enough to keep weight on a normal season, let alone losing 20 pounds with the surgery. So, it wasn't anything planned. I just was training and eating and trying to do my best, and I feel pretty strong. I feel pretty, definitely heavier, but feeling good and feeling strong.
Peter, what?
I love the way that he and Coach Callahan both be like, he probably was a little bit lighter last year, and then he just right out said, yeah, I was 20 pounds. I lost 20 pounds for that surgery. Yeah, man, he looks bigger. I can't tell if he looks stronger yet because they're not super, full contact yet. We'll see on that front. I don't think we have it.
I was going to say, from the looks of it on the sled today, he was looking powerful once again,
Yeah, those clips you saw, some real power from him.
The very famous sled today now. Like, he looked very, very good.
Bertha and Olga, those guys, those gals, those fine ladies.
Yep.
It's funny because he was talking about it, and I didn't get a video of it because I was just listening and laughing. He was talking about how there was earlier on when they had some of the veteran outside activities before the rookies even came in, I believe. There was kind of a conspiracy that those two were weighted differently and like they'd been messing with the springs or something in there. And then there was a conspiracy amongst the linemen that maybe Bill himself was changing them and making one more difficult than the other. And then he said that Bill Callahan had them taken apart and reassembled because the players said that they felt different. And then they ran the scientific method on these by lining up and doing each one at a time and seeing the difference. I don't know. Apparently there was a grand conspiracy going on amongst the offensive line room for the Tennessee Titans. And that's something he felt he needed to share today. He also had some remarks that we're not going to share via video, but I'll share the gist of it about Bill Callahan, just saying he was excited to bring him in, have him brought in rather. Excited to work with him, had heard from some guys that had worked with Callahan in the past who were training with Peter about what to expect and how he's going to work them. And he said he's been intense. He's been working us. He's been, calling out our BS, and it's been really good. And he enjoys that much. This last clip here from Peter is about the help around him, adding Lloyd Cushenberry to the center position on his right, adding J.C. Latham to the left tackle position on his left. What's that going to mean for him? How's that going to help him as a player at left guard? And here was his answer.
Yeah, no doubt. Kush is obviously not the tallest guy, but definitely a really powerful player. JC's build speaks for itself. So definitely makes my job easier, especially in the run game in terms of that. And then just obviously there's a communication aspect to that too. But they both seem like they're really on top of things. So definitely a huge help having both those guys.